For Allah, nothing but Allah. Ba is the beginning of Bismillah. Ta is for taqwa, bewaring of Allah. And Tha is for Thawwab, a reward. Ja is for Jannah, the garden of paradise. Ha is for Hajj, the blessed pilgrimage. Kha is for Khatam, the seal of the prophethood given to the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to our program, Learn Arabic. I think that we discussed before, how can we produce the first alphabet in Arabic, which is A, which of course it's named also Alif. And the following one is Ba, which is actually pronounced as Ba. That probably could be very close to the sound in English, which is B, probably could be something like that. But I think that Ba in Arabic could be also very distinctive, especially when it comes to writing.
Yeah.
Because when you write Ba in Arabic, we have, actually, I would say it would be very easy, but you have to practice how can you write Ba in Arabic. Let me just start that with you. So if you'd like to write this alphabet, you have to start in this way. Can you see that? It's a line here. Then we take a 90-degree angle in this way.
Yeah.
Okay. And then we go through this line and we make another hook here. Can you see this?
Yeah.
And by the way, when you write this alphabet, we write that from the right to the left.
Yes.
So please, don't make that here. That's wrong.
Yeah.
Yep. So we have to write that in this form. Okay. But also it's very important to mention here that when we write this alphabet in Arabic, we have to put just one dot below the letter here.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yes.
Let me repeat it again. You're there. Some people probably might ask me a question about, do we have a perfect size for writing this alphabet? I mean, for example, you can write Ba in this form, and you can write that in this form.
Yeah.
So do we have a standard rule for the size of this alphabet? No. It depends on the style of writing. It depends on the size of the paper that you're writing on it.
Or calligraphy, as we have in calligraphy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It depends on different ways. But the most important thing for writing this alphabet is, as we said now, that we start from the right side here in a very short line, going through here, taking a 90-degree angle, and then we make another hook here, and we put a dot.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
Any question about that?
No, but I'm asking
Yeah.
about
Go ahead,
here,
Sam.
right-handed people and left-handed people. Is there any difference?
Osama, you're always asking me very important questions. I think, Osama, here, I don't think that there is a difference here. But, well, actually, I'm not. I'm using my right hand, not my left hand. But probably when they use the left hand, let me just try that here. Well, that could be.
Could be difficult.
Right. But I'm talking here about the standard rule for writing Ba. So the standard rule for writing such alphabet is to start from the right side to the left side. I think now it's very important again to make comparison between Ba in Arabic and B or P in English.
English, yes.
Okay. So if you'd like to write, for example, P or B, is there a difference between both?
Yeah,
Yep.
absolutely.
What's that?
Yeah, here,
Yep.
in the first Ba,
Yep.
it is a voiceless sound.
Okay.
Okay? But here in Ba,
Okay.
there's a voice sound.
Exactly.
And I think it is very different, or it makes confusion with some people when pronouncing, for example, words such as pray, which means yusalli,
Yep.
and bray, which means something which the sound of the donkey or the ass.
Exactly. That's true. So that means that in English, we do have two different letters, P and B.
Yes.
But in Arabic, we don't have that. We just have one alphabet, which is ba. Let me just move on here to how can we pronounce it. Okay. Here in the slides, we can see that is, here is it. How can we produce the sound, the state of voicing, place of articulation, and manner of articulation? In a nutshell, in a very, very simple and short terms, I can tell you here something. State of voicing. In every alphabet we pronounce, we have to make sure about the state of vibration here, whether we have vibration or not. This is my point.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. So when we say ba, ba, can you repeat it again?
Ba.
Ba. Put your hand, please, at your Adam's apple.
Yes. Ba.
Ba. Is there a vibration here?
Ba.
No.
No, there is
Okay. Ba.
Ba.
Yeah. But how about if we say ba,
Ba.
no.
ba? Is there a vibration?
There is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's my point. If you would like to pronounce it, the first thing here is to have certain level of vibration for producing the sound. Okay. So that means that the airstream which is coming up from the lungs, again, as we said in air, we do have again vibration for that sound.
Yeah.
Bab. Repeat it again. Bab.
Bab.
Which means door. Okay. Put your hand at your Adam's apple and repeat it again. Bab.
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 Is there a vibration?
Yes.
Yeah, here we
Yes.
go. Okay. So this is my first point. The second one here is that place of articulation. Bilabial. Okay. You have a question, Talha? Yep.
Yes. What's the meaning of bilabial?
Bilabial. Okay. Well, thank you, Talha, for asking me this question. I think that's very important here. Bilabial means, I think that we discussed before in Arabic alphabets, that we do have some alphabets that are produced from the frontal side.
Yeah.
Some alphabets are produced from the back side of the tongue.
Yes.
Some of them probably are produced by the alveolar side, which is the final part of the soft palate. Here is it. Can you see that?
Yeah.
Like,
said.
Can you see that? Okay. But let me just get back again to your question, Talha. Bilabial here means when we produce this sound, we have to make our two lips coming closer and touching each other. Can you see that? Ba,
Pa.
ba.
Yeah.
Right. Is that different from a? Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Because we don't make any kind of closing the two lips together for a.
There's no contact here.
Exactly. So we
Yeah.
should have a kind of contact here
Yeah.
between both lips together. So that's why we say this is bilabial sound. So again, the phonetic feature for producing this sound is that it's a voice sound, it's a bilabial sound.
Yeah.
Oh, another interesting point here is that stop.
Which is the manner of articulation.
Yeah. And when it comes to the stop, well, first of all, let me just tell you here something. Place of articulation indicates which part in the oral cavity the sound is produced. Okay. But the manner of articulation also indicates whether we have complete or partial or no obstruction of airstream at all while coming out from the mouth.
Yeah.
It's very important here also to mention that is, if you like to produce any sound in Arabic, then you have to focus on the airstream, the direction of the airstream, the voicing cases, and the place of articulation, the position of the tongue,
Yeah.
and the manner of articulation. All of such elements you have to bear in your mind. You have to focus more attention on all of this. Okay. Now, when it comes to the manner of articulation, I'm sorry for that.
Please, Ahmed, I have a
Yep.
question here.
No, please, go ahead, Usam.
Here, in describing the sound, then,
Yep.
we are applying the same rules or the same criteria for describing any sound in English. We have voicing, we have manner of articulation, place of articulation.
Yep.
So I think that is one of the similarities.
Yep.
Or why we are not applying the rules of Arabic. For example, in voiced here, we can say harf gah, or voiced is harf hems. So what about this?
I think, Osama, if you'd like to put your terms, for example, for describing the sounds, you'll find at the end that it has also the same function. Like we say voice and voiceless, gar, or
Hems.
and hem, something like that, it would be probably could be very close to the both terms. Like for example, something people like we said before, capital letter and small letters, and you said now a lowercase letter, something like that.
Yes.
So I think that is probably that could be related to the Arab phonologists who actually wrote the first rules for producing the sounds.
Yeah.
And in nowadays, actually, in the modern theories of linguistics, you can find also another different terms. But again, it's all about terms and it's all about the definitions. But we should focus more attention on the function of producing the sound. This is my main point.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd like to know, well, if you are saying, for example, it's a voice, what's the meaning of voice? Or if it is gar, what's the meaning of gar? This is the point. And another interesting point here is to practice this sound.
Yeah.
Well, it doesn't make any sense. Just as if you can describe the sound, but you can't produce that correctly.
So.
It's terrible, actually, to find something like that.
Yes. Well.
Yep. Anyway.
Done. Okay.
So, manner of articulation here. I said before that the air stream is coming out from the lungs. We have certain part of vibration. And the airstream, of course, is not going through the nasal cavity.
Yeah.
It's going through here, the oral cavity. Can you see that here?
Yeah.
Okay.
See it.
What's happening here is that, okay, the two lips are coming together. Can you see that?
Bad.
But what's happening in the airstream, which are coming out from the lungs,
Yeah.
going through the oral cavity,
And then there is obstruction.
exactly, we have a certain part of obstruction. Do you know where is the obstruction here, Osama? When you close the two lips together, and then you open that in a tiny second.
Yeah.
Back. So the airstream was stopped, and then it released freely.
Yes. Suddenly it released.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's why we say that this is a stop sound. Because when you produce this sound, we do have a certain part of obstruction of the airstream. That's why it's described as a stop sound. I think in English also we do have that. For example, both P and B, both of them are stop sounds.
Stop sounds,
So
yes.
it would be the same also in Arabic about ba. Okay. Now, well, this is about how can you write the sound. I'm sorry. This is about how can we produce the sound phonetically, or how can we pronounce it.
Yeah.
But how can we write it? I think we discussed that also, right? But when it comes in different positions inside the word, we have to stop and rethink again about that. And I think that we can discuss this point after taking a break. Ladies and gentlemen, my dear viewers, we're going to have a break, and after that, we'll be right back.
Huda TV strives to bring you, our viewers, the best in Islamic programming. Please send your comments and suggestions to feedback at huda.tv.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome back again to our program, Learn Arabic. I think that we discussed before how can we produce a and ba. And I think now that we're going to continue also talking more about producing and pronouncing the alphabet ba. As everyone knows that when it comes to different positions inside the word, Arabic alphabets do have various forms for writing that. It can be found, for example, as we discussed before, in a.
Yeah.
And it's also, we have to discuss that in ba. Let me start here. In initial position, ba is always connected. Oh yeah, okay. So let me just explain that to you in details.
Yeah.
We discussed before how can we write this alphabet. It's here in this way. We put dot.
Yes.
But remember, this is the shape of the independent letter in Arabic.
Yes.
When you write this letter in any word, then it takes probably another form. It's not completely different, but it will be very close to this form. Let me just give you one example. Here is it. Bayt, which means home. Here it is. Okay. Mustafa, Talha, Sam, and Muhammad, please focus more on that part of writing ta. Okay. How many letters do we have here? I would say we have here one letter, another one here, and this is the third one.
So we have 3.
Okay, so we have 3 letters. Do we have some silent letters in Arabic, as we have in English? For the word knife, we don't have silent letter in Arabic.
No, yeah.
At all. Okay.
Yes.
Now, if I'm writing, for example, bait, please focus more attention on how can we start writing this. We start with a very short hook here, and we come through that. And we put the dot. Can we put 2 dots? No, absolutely not. Not a chance.
Yeah.
We can't do that at all. Okay, so we have basics for writing the alphabets in Arabic. Okay. And generally speaking, ba, when it comes in initial position, it must be connected.
Yeah.
Yes.
So you cannot, for example, write this word starting by ba here in this way.
Yes.
And you stop here. Let me just repeat it again. Here is that. And you make that here, and you say, well, I can write this word by using this form. Of course, that's wrong.
Yes.
So what's happening here, we start with a very short hook here, but we remove that line. Again, so we can make that here. 1 dot. You probably might ask me a question about what kind of position should I put the dot? Should I put that here, or here, or here? Probably, generally, it comes in the middle position
Yes,
here.
in the middle, yes.
Right.
The center, yeah.
Do we have a standard size for this dot? Like, for example, should I write that in this way?
Yeah, I think
Yeah, sometimes.
It
Well,
depends.
it depends on
Yeah.
the style of writing. If you have, for example, newspaper, probably you can find different forms for the computational style that we have.
Yeah.
Anyway, so this is when it comes in initial position, it's always connected.
Yeah.
Okay. How about in the medial position? Always connected. Let me give you one example here. The word Lebanon, which means in English, Lebanon.
Lebanon, yeah.
It's the name of the country. Okay. How many letters do we have here in this word? 1, la, 2, 3, 4, 5.
5.
My focus on here. My focus actually is coming through this part.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me just repeat it again. Here it is. Can you see that? Please focus on the style of writing here. Here is it. Here is it. Well, actually, you shouldn't make that. You shouldn't make this very tall in this way. You can make that short. Okay. So ba here is coming in this form.
Yeah.
Now, can you see a difference between writing ba as an independent shape? Do you still remember that? Okay. Now, do you see this?
Yeah.
Okay. Lebanon. Here is it. Well, this is bad when it comes in the medial position.
Yeah. I have a question.
Yeah,
here.
Osama, please go ahead.
Yeah.
I like all your questions, by the way.
Yeah, thanks. But here in Lebanon,
Yep.
I find that there is something in Arabic is called diacritics or al-harakat.
Yep.
Then we have in Lebanon, I think that there is no haraka here or no movement. So this is a second or a sukun. It's sukun.
Yeah.
But in bayt, so we have a fatha.
Yeah.
Or here in bint, we have a kasra.
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
what
Well,
about
thank
this
you, Osama.
issue? I think it's very difficult to me.
Yeah, I think, Osama, here you are opening a very important door for learning the vowels in Arabic. As we said before, that is, generally speaking, in Arabic, we do have short vowels and we have long vowels.
Yeah. So here you mean that here we have vowels that
Exactly.
interfering with the consonants.
Which is called in Arabic, by the way, harakat, damma, kasra, fatha. That is probably could be described as short vowels in Arabic. But when it comes to the long vowels, we have, for example, wa, ya, and a, which
Yeah.
probably could be close to al-alif, the first alphabet. But anyway, so we discussed before the first alphabet, which is a, and we said that this is vowel.
This vowel.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But we do have another vowels, which is harakat. And I think that this is, it could be very important, especially if you'd like to reach to the level of, reaching the level of perfection for writing each alphabet in the right form.
Yeah.
But if you would like, just if you are a beginner in learning Arabic, I think it would be very easy actually to learn how can you write and pronounce the letter.
Yeah.
I think that harakat also is very important, but when it comes in the second or the third level for learning Arabic. Yeah. But anyway, so now let's move on here again to, so we discussed now how can we write this alphabet
Yeah.
in initial form,
In the middle.
in the medial form,
Yes.
and the final part here will be, final form we do have here, as you see, partially connected, sometimes disconnected.
Yeah.
Okay, let me just explain that in detail. I will write, so what's the first example that we have on the screen, Sama? For connected or disconnected?
Yeah, okay.
Okay. It's in the final position, partially connected.
Yes.
Okay. Partial connected means sometimes it comes connected and sometimes it comes disconnected.
Disconnected, yeah.
Okay. The example for connecting sound, connected letter, I'm sorry, I sometimes make confusion between both sides. And of course there is strong difference between both.
Yeah.
Like for example, hub, which means love.
Yeah.
Can you see that?
Yeah.
Can you give me another example for ba in the final position? I can say bab.
We have bab, yeah.
Do you have an example, Sam?
Yeah, we have ab, which is disconnected here.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly, Sam. Up. Yep. But let me just move to help here, because this word, when you see such a word, what's happening here is ba comes connected not with the following one actually, because it's coming in the final position.
Yes.
So it's not connected with the following one, but it's connected with the previous alphabet.
one, yes.
Can you see that?
Yeah.
So when you write that here, and also you make connection with the previous one. Okay. But how about when it comes in the final position as a disconnected alphabet? Like, for example, bab, which means door. Can you see that? Okay, let me just repeat it again. Can you see that? Well,
Yeah.
I think that this is a very interesting example. Do you know why? Because we have two forms of ba. The first one, which is connected, coming in the initial position, and the second one, which is disconnected, which actually is coming in the final position. In the initial position, it's coming here, it's coming connected. But in the final one, it's coming disconnected.
Yeah.
Ba, when it comes in the final position, if it is connected, so we write that in this way. Here is it. Okay. Because I would like to combine that with ha.
Yeah.
Okay. But when it comes as a disconnected form, we write that as an independent shape, as independent letter.
Yeah, okay.
So again, we write bab in this way. Okay. So how many forms now? How many shapes do we have for writing this alphabet? I think that can be explained in the following.
Five.
Can you
We have
see
five.
that? Four or five or six. We can discuss 4 shapes for writing this alphabet. Yep. Okay. So the first shape here for writing such alphabet is that. Here is it. Again. So the alphabet is ba. This is the independent shape for writing this alphabet.
Yeah.
When it comes in initial position, we write that in this way. When it comes in the middle position, in the medial position, we write that in this way.
Yeah.
And when it comes in the final position, sometimes it's written in this way.
It's with the hook.
With the hook, right.
Yes.
Exactly, Usama. And sometimes we write that as independent form.
Yes.
Oh, I think that's very interesting. I think the next time we're going to have a paper, because everyone should write something like that as a kind of practical way for learning Arabic alphabets. So, anyway, do you have any question about that?
Yeah.
Yeah, please, Usama, go ahead.
Yeah, okay. Before we leave
Yeah.
this letter,
Yep.
we have learned from the previous episode that
Yep.
this sound is a voice sound.
Yeah.
But there are some linguists who do say that we have a voiceless pa in Arabic, such as, for example, sept or kept.
Oh, I
So
see.
here, it likes, or it is similar to pa, the voiceless pa in English,
Yeah.
as in pray.
Yeah, that's true. Well, I think, Usama, as I said before, in Arabic we do have certain level of voicing for ba. So that means, I'm not saying it's completely voiced, but in some cases you can find this letter, or this sound, is sometimes voiceless, as pa, which is probably could be described as musakkan,
Yeah.
something like that. But on the other hand, some linguists claim that is ba is always voiced. But of course that's not
Yes,
true.
I know that there are a few
Yep.
cases
Yeah.
of voiceless ba
Exactly,
in
right.
Arabic.
But the common rule for producing ba is voicing a state, not the voiceless.
Yeah.
We can find some cases as voiceless, but this is when it comes harakat sukun.
Yes, well.
Right. Anyway, well, thank you, Sama, for raising such questions. I would like to thank all my dear guests today, Mustafa, Talha, Usama, and Muhammad. Thank you for all of you for coming today. Ladies and gentlemen, my dear viewers, I think that this is the end of such episode. We can discuss more about the following alphabets in Arabic language in the following episodes. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
A is for Allah, nothing but Allah. Ba is the beginning of Bismillah. Ta is for taqwa, bewaring of Allah. And Tha is for Tawwab, a reward. Ja is for Jannah, the garden of paradise. Ha is for Hajj, the blessed pilgrimage. Kha is for Khatam, the seal of the prophethood given to the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam.